Oh, got it. Hello, everyone. Let me just start by saying sorry for my voice if the crackling is annoying. Ariel and I were with Superstar Directors and Home Office last week at Disney World doing a Disney Institute training and checking out our display that Cincy has at Epcot, which is pretty amazing. And we screamed a whole lot on some roller coasters. So
We screamed a whole lot.
well, so forgive the crackly voice. I'll try to keep it as smooth as possible to not hurt your ears. But today we have some good content for you. And when we were thinking through what we wanted to talk with you about, what was important, one thing that we to realize is that May feels really like a fresh beginning for us. And there's a couple of reasons why. One of the biggest that I mentioned earlier today is it's the beginning of the Cincy year because we have two annual awards that you can get. The annual sales award, which is 30,000 PRV in a year, and the annual mentor award, which is 14 recruited certified consultants in the year. They both come with great bonuses, accolades at SFR, lots of fun stuff. But they go from May 1st all the way to April 30th. And so that just started 3 days ago. And so we've got all the time in the world to make that happen. So a lot of times the new year begins, it feels like, you know what? Even if I didn't do that thing, it's fine to start on this day because it feels like a fresh start. So that's kind of what we want to bring to this call today and give you some ideas to think through that sort of take a little bit different of an angle on some of these than you've heard before. So I think it's going to be a good call for you. Hope you get something out of it. Also, just want to mention that, we've got 17 years of combined experience between Ariel and I. And one thing that we have seen consistently throughout all of our years is that May is the month that new directors are born. It's not when they promote out, it's when they're born, because it's when we see new directors say things like, okay, I'm going to be a director this fall, or I'm all in. I'm ready to do this. Let's go. They start recruiting, and those activities just steamroll, and you see the promotions happen. And so the promotions for a director in the fall do not happen in the fall, they happen now. And so to prove that point, I actually pulled some stats for you. I don't know if anybody else loves numbers, but I love pulling those numbers. There's percentages and seeing things to really prove and see if what we're saying is just fluff or if it's truth. I pulled and actually report or a poll up on Campfire or on the collective today. And if you haven't seen it, you can go check. So I'm looking at it now. And I pulled all of the star director group. So there's four of us and our star directors. And I pulled everybody's percentages of increases from May to November to look what those look like. And I posted a poll to ask which one was real. And the you can look now if you have access, are real stats. So example is one of us had 2,400% increase in team size and 1,800% increase in team sales between May and November. You're going to see numbers like a 40% increase, 150% increase, 1,000% increase. And all of those are indicative of proving the point that from May to November, magic can happen. And when you have those increases, you are inevitably going to have those promotions. And so I wanted to prove that so that it helps you to not only like start to believe that you, but start to switch that flip that switch in your brain that helps you to take that action. So I am going to stop talking here in a second and let Ariel talk as well. So let me see if there's anything I wanted to say. Oh, one last thing is, so within those results, there are, of the superstar directors, star directors, there are reinstatements, there's fast promoters, there's slower promoters, there's re-promoters. So there's literally no formula for who's going to promote from now into the fall, except for those that just decide, simply decide, believe, take action, and then consistently put in the work. So no matter where you are, some of those numbers on there started, I pulled all of them here. There are some that started with one person on their team in May and had 25 in November to promote. There was some that had 15 and went to 21. There's some that had a little smaller or bigger increases, like 5 to 56. So it's all about that consistency. Okay, so with that, we are going to talk about 10 tips to sort of restart, to kind of rev our engines. And so with that, I'm going to turn it over to Ariel.
Awesome. Okay, so my voice isn't as bad as Candy's, but it's not great. I also came back sick, so I'm still recovering. But I am so excited to share these with you guys tonight because, like Candy was saying, just this fresh start, it feels like I can take a big deep breath in and exhale peace, right? It's this like cool sense of settling and like getting ready, almost as if I'm like getting in one of those runner blocks. I was going to bend forward, but I realized you might see it on my shirt. You guys probably don't want to see that, but like you're getting a runner's block and you're ready to sprint, right? So these are the 10 things that we want to talk to you guys about to rev your engine. Vroom, vroom. You guys stop me right now. All right, so the first one is, and I can't see most of your faces, so I assume you're laughing at me, but I don't know. Candy's laughing. Okay, so the first one is, business results happen by doing the things that you don't necessarily want to do, right? There's always things in our business that we're like, no, thank you. That like sounds boring, or I just don't want to. You have you're leaning into your emotions and those feelings of maybe their frustration and disappointment, and you're letting that control your actions and what you do. So instead, let's flip that. And no matter what emotions or things are feeling, you get those things done that you don't want to do. And some of those include following up with your customers, making big, bold offers, sharing, posting, doing all those things, but working through the thoughts and not letting those control your actions. So that's number one.
Awesome. Okay. Number two is a big one. I have always kind of struggled through this one, but it's, if you haven't been consistent, how do you jump? And I don't mean just consistent in your business, because I stay consistent in my business, but on social media. I feel this one a lot where I haven't posted and I'm like, oh, posted, so I shouldn't post yet because I haven't posted that other thing. And then all of a sudden, a few days gone by and I haven't stayed consistent on social media with those people that are watching. And I heard this analogy, and it's a little out there. It's a little maybe even TMI for those of us that don't like to talk about these sorts of things. But the analogy was this: you're at a party, you need to go to the bathroom. You go, you think you're doing number one and you need to do number two, and it takes you a real long time, right? So you walk back out into the party. And when you walk back out into the party, you are like, oh God, do they know? Like, do they know what I was doing in there? Like, whatnot. But you walk out to the party. Does anybody care? Is anybody waiting for you to come back, timing you? No, they're just going about the party. You don't walk back into the party and like, excuse me, yes, I was in there for a long time because I was doing this thing. I didn't know that was going to happen, but so I'm sorry I'm a little late, guys. No, right? Be super weird. And so we don't have to announce when we come back to social media or come back to our businesses that, hey, it's been a while. I'm so sorry, but I'm back now. No, you just slide right in and just rejoin the party like you never left, and no one will know the wiser. So I've never talked about number two, maybe ever before. So lucky you.
It's true. She doesn't talk about that. All right, number three. She's so embarrassed right now. I didn't think you were even going to bring that analogy into it, but I'm so thankful you did.
Snorted. I totally snorted. It's an awesome day.
So good. You guys you're so lucky that you're alive. Ellie posted a funny comment. She said she totally is. Oh, wait, that's something else. But she's the kind of person who has friends who would call her out for being gone. So that's some fun. So number three is posts, reels, and stories, right? We all make them and they're awesome. Well, sometimes they suck, and that's okay. We don't have to be freaking awesome all the time. That's a really high standard that you shouldn't set yourself to. But we can't just throw posts on our wall and hope that it sticks and hope that someone is going to comment, engage, like, and if they do, we need to be willing to follow up and engage back and not make everything about the sale. You know, oftentimes we talk about finding our niche because sometimes we're not sure who we are or who we should be, but the best niche to be is yourself, right? Like you can see who I am always, right? I'm very transparent. It could be a toxic trait. I don't know, but I'm very transparent with who I am, and I attract the people who are like me and the people who no, but just pretty much are like me, or I make them laugh. I give them funny content. Like today in my stories, I shared about how I freaking broke a favorite pair of sunglasses because I opened my car door and hit my face. Luckily, the sunglasses were a barrier, but those sunglasses are now busted and they're in the garbage. So that's a side note, but you are who you are, and sharing that is what will draw like people to you. It's what will draw your crowd to you. And not just expecting to post things and sit back and let like the sales roll in and the friends roll in. You need to actively engage and be part of the conversation too. So some things that you can do is if you post a reel, if you post a story and people react, you can comment back and say, oh my gosh, what a ding dong I am, right? Can't believe I broke my glasses on my face with my car door. So these are things that you just need to make sure that you're engaging, and invite your audience with calls to action as well. Don't always just say things, right? Because what are they supposed to do if you just say things, right? You're supposed to also, okay, I did this. What would you do? Oh my gosh, this is my favorite type of movie theater popcorn flavoring. What's yours? Oh my gosh, my favorite scent in our fresh is X, Y, and Z. What would you pick? Engage and invite that conversation and then interact with them. Super, super important to have your audience, because it's social media. It's not just here's my story media. Please like me. Please buy my things, right? We get that. So that's number three.
Awesome. Number four is short and sweet, but it really packs a punch. So listen, sales and promotions don't sell, you do. So don't wait for the next LTO or the next flash sale to actually get into your business, to get excited about your business. And you might have the argument, well, look at my sales. I have LTOs or when there's a flash sale. Well, the reason that's happening is because you are showing up more, because you're what's selling. You are going live. You're talking about the product. You're excited about the product. Your algorithms are going up because your excitement drives their excitement. So don't wait. Don't wait to get started. And if you feel like you waited too long to get started, go back to that number one and just jump in. Okay. All right. That's it. That's a short one.
All right. Number 5 is be brave, make bold offers, and make big goals. Don't just copy and paste a post that you saw somebody else make because you like their verbiage. Use it as inspiration and write your own. And you know what? Practice copy. You're going to have some copy that sucks, and that's okay. You've got to practice to be able to find your voice and sound like you and be able to really relate to and share with your audience. So practice, it might suck, and that's okay, but be brave and be bold and go forth and make good copy.
I like that one. That was good. All right. Number 6 is another one that packs a punch. One thing that we do wrong in our industry is we keep one-upping each other. And then all of a sudden we start getting stigma because it's not enough anymore that we made a 2 or 3 figure check. It's not enough anymore that we even made a 4-figure paycheck. No, the thing that we think sells is now saying the $1 million number, right? And that actually is completely unrelatable, absolutely unrelatable at any level for anyone on the outside looking in. Telling people that it's a life-changing opportunity, telling people that you retired your spouse, telling people all these big and grand things is completely unrelatable and turns people off. And I want to say about that is a couple things. One, normalize 2 and 3-figure paychecks because that's what your audience is really after. They're after, having another stream of income. Did you know that most people, statistics show, cannot cover a $400 emergency that happens? So it's those kinds of things are what's life-changing for most people that we need to make sure that we are relating to. And the good news for us is that that means that what you have to offer now is what your audience wants to see. That's what's relatable. So you don't have to wait until you reach this unreachable level of success before sharing your business. Because, once you get to the point, you're unrelatable because most people aren't going to be millionaires. That's just most people aren't. Most people aren't going to be millionaires in most businesses. Is it possible? Absolutely. But that's not what's relatable. So normalize the 2 and 3-figure paychecks. And yes, again, those $1 million paychecks, sexy, right? It's so fun to share about them, to talk about them, just about how fast they were achieved. The outside looking in, they are a turnoff, especially for those people that love pyramid scheme and anti-MLMers. And so we want to stay away from that. And then just stop overselling it. So that's the other point out of this one is normalizing to again reach that level of success before you start. So gosh, going back to number 1 again, just jump in and just get started. It does not matter where you are now because where you are now is relatable to so many more people than where you would be once you are a millionaire, right?
Yeah. Amanda shared in the comments that her monthly paychecks are allowing her daughter to attend preschool. And if she didn't have that, she would have to wait until kindergarten to go to school. So it's things like that that are totally relatable that are like, okay, I paid for my kids to go to daycare with my paycheck when we first moved back to America. And that gave me the opportunity to have those couple hours a week to focus, but I was able to pay for that and not out of family money. So
Yeah.
it's just a couple extra $100 a month can make a world of difference.
And that really is what is considered life-changing to most people is those kind of sums, is that $400 a month. And the other thing on this, and a lot of it has to do with social media in our society now, but so what happens is we don't post that stuff because we're like, oh, but that doesn't look as cool as this person that just posted that they make $1 million or they even said that they have a 5-figure paycheck, and those are exciting, and you see a lot of that happen around payday. But we have to remember that that's not our audience. Our audience is in other Scentsy consultants, and sometimes it can feel like a popularity contest or feel like you're trying to one up or you're trying to compare, and instead get back to simplicity and remember who your audience actually is, and that it's those that you're trying to relate to, not that you're trying to compete against.
That actually ties really well into number 7 is the idea that, you know, we keep thinking I should be further along than I am. I should, I'm not caught up to X, Y, or Z. And it's like, we're comparing. And then that sends our mind into a despair and a spiral. And who are we comparing ourselves to? Somebody else's timeline, somebody else's journey, entirely different metrics that go into their journey. And so what's happening in my life is not the same as what's happening in Candy's life. And so comparing my journey to hers is unfair to both of us, because it sets me up for this, like almost instant failure, because I'm trying to do what she's doing when I don't know what else is going on in her life. And I'm trying to fit it into my life, this idea of what she's doing. So the idea that you're not caught up with somebody else, there's no comparison and competition, except when you're comparing yourself to, like, okay, Ariel last May was doing X, Y, or Z. Here's my year over year comparison. Here is the data that I have tangible evidence of that I did. How can I adjust and adapt for this year? That's the only comparison you should be making, as to what you have previously done and how you have changed and how you've grown and how you're going to keep growing your business. So avoid the, I should be here, I should be further in my journey because I see them doing this. Avoid that at all costs, because it will send you into a spiral, and it's super unhelpful. So if you're going to compare year over year, if you need help figuring out that data, let us know. We'll help you figure out those numbers so you can see what's what.
And that's such a good point with just personal development in general, because it doesn't stop at whatever level you're at. It still happens with us, and I still have to remind myself, even her saying that, I have people in mind that I can myself to, because there are Cinderella stories out there. There are that joined at the same time at me that are making a lot of money, that are close to that $1 million mark. And I'm not making $1 million, like, if you didn't know that already. And so that never stops. So it's good to learn that personal development strategy now.
Yeah. And I think sometimes, because we have these Cinderella stories, we put them on a pedestal, and we forget that that's not the normal. And we need to re-normalize the normal and know that those are just the exception and not the rule.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yep. And better job of that too, because again, it's sexy, it's exciting. That's only when I post, like, oh, but it does sort of like make us feel bad at the same time. We're like, oh my God, that's so awesome. I'm really not awesome.
I suck.
Yeah, I really suck. Okay, so number 8 is the reason I'm talking about this is because going back to like the restarting of the year, whether you have recruited or you haven't, whether you want to recruit or you don't want to recruit, we can sort of start that slate clean now, because it's May 1st. Okay. So a couple things I want to say about that is, if you do want to recruit, then you must talk about it. Surprise. We think everybody knows that they can join direct sales, that they can join Cincy, but they don't. We just take that for granted. Before I joined Cincy, I literally had no idea what direct sales was. I didn't even know what Cincy was. Whenever I put in my first orders, and it told me that I had awards and like free hostess reward, I literally had no idea what any of that meant. And that's probably a lot of people out there. And so you must talk about it. That's what you want to do. A couple other things I want to just say about recruiting is how you know it's a reputable direct network marketing company is that you don't have to recruit to make money. So you don't have to recruit in Cincy to make money. But if you want to make exponential money, then recruiting is the way to do that. And you're not making money off of anyone. Cincy is paying you for doing the work that they don't have to if they were a brick and mortar, like doing training calls like this. That's paying you for that time, doing coaching, doing mentoring, answering questions. All of those things that go into it that Cincy doesn't have to do, they're compensating you for that. Okay. And Let's see. So when you're talking with people about recruiting, and we're gonna like restart how we do these things, um, rethink how you do it. And I love the term of like just act like a human. Like we've gotten so sort of robotic with what people tell us to do and train us to say. And human interaction, real human conversation, and ask things like, it sounds like you're kind of curious about it, or you're watching what I'm posting, you're commenting, you love the products, you buy a lot every month. Like, why not? Why not get a discount on it? Why not try it out? Why not? And that question of why not, really what it does is it's opening that dialogue and the ability to have a conversation versus something like, hey, we have a joint promotion this month and this is da da da. And there's number sentence number two and sentence number three. Let me know. Let me know. Shuts down the conversation. It puts the ball in their court. So then it's super awkward if we have to go back and like follow up with them because we already gave them the ball and now we're taking the ball back and shoving it down the throat again, right? And so instead of using that like let me know language that cuts off the conversation, use the language that keeps the dialogue open. And that's why instead of word vomiting, it's helpful to just, I had to bite my tongue a lot in the beginning, giving them bite-sized pieces of information that they've asked for so that we can keep the conversation going. Because the goal isn't to tell them everything. The goal is to keep the conversation and that dialogue open so we can both decide if it's a good fit. And that is a really important because if you are truly having the real conversations and you're talking with people about it, you're excited about you're not just going to have one person that you have to hang your hat on that you are like, if it's that person or nothing, right? Then you get to have that blessed relief of being able to simply say, like, let's see if it's the right fit. Let's have a conversation and see, deep in our heart, we're like, it's the right fit forever, totally mine. But it gives you that vibe that really can draw people in. Confidence in the recruiting game is, I mean, I think it's like what 90% of the whole deal. Just the confidence and that vibe of the ask and that conversation is really most of the deal. So that one went a little bit long, but gosh, when we talk about recruiting, it always does. So we will go to not sucking, number nine.
So number 9 is really about serving your audience and not being afraid to suck and try something new, because when you're trying something new, yeah, it's probably gonna suck. I tell my kids all the time, they get frustrated. So an example, I brought, I don't know if you're a Harry Potter fan like moi, but I brought a game of Exploding Snapback from the Harry Potter Universal store. And it's pretty much like the card game Speed with some like twists in there. So I was teaching my daughter and she just gave up because I'm older, I have more experience. I can see things faster than she can, and I could understand the rules a little bit quicker. And so I was already starting to go, and I was trying to pace myself. But then she said, "I'm done. I quit." And she decided that she wanted to walk away. And I said, "Okay, well, I was trying to explain like this is brand new for both of us, and I've played card games before, so I understand a little bit better. But this is brand new for you. Would you like to start over? Would you like me to read the rules again?" Going over and just helping remind her that she's brand new at this game. She's not meant to excel. She's not meant to be the best because it's brand new and it's supposed to be fun. And so it's a really important lesson when we have these conversations, and when we think about these things is, okay, I have to be willing to try something new. And I have to understand that it could suck. It could be like the dumbest thing I've ever done. But if it's something I really want to do, if it's something that brings me joy, I can't let me sucking get in the way of me learning and growing and progressing. So it's okay if you suck. Just don't give up on yourself. Don't stop, and still be willing to serve your audience. right? Figure out how ways that you can serve your audience within all of this, whether it's on social media, whether it's in an email, whether it's one-on-one. Understand that they're human too. They understand that we're not perfect, and they're going to accept you, even if sometimes you suck in your own eyes. They're probably not going to see it the same way you do, right? We are always the harsher judges of ourselves because we have all of this internal dialogue built up. So try not to be too hard on yourself. Get ready to suck and grow and serve your audience.
I like that. Okay. Number 10 is don't be a sales chihuahua. What that means is it's a little bit about what I was just talking about in the recruiting. You can use a lot of the same principles when you're talking about sales. So if that recruiting one didn't, that's not something that you are passionate about, that you want to really do, then sort of use those same principles on the sales side. So again, if somebody says, yeah, I'm interested, again, don't throw them all the information and put the ball in their court and end with let me know. Instead, use that dialogue to ask questions to help get to what will serve their needs best. And then that also just goes into remembering that we've got a lot of products to sell, but you don't have to sell all of them. You don't have to push all of them. You don't have to market all of them. You might have some things that you highlight, and it might be seasonally. It just might be people know that you are a huge bath soap person. You sell wax and warmers, that's your deal, or whatever. You just don't have to be everything, because gosh, it's so hard these days. And gosh, that probably goes a little deeper than just sales. You don't have to be everything out on social media. And it feels like that sometimes. And watch our likes, or have to watch the comments. We're worried about people, and sales consultants are thinking about what we posted, about our team, about comparing ourselves with other people, and then thinking that we've got to I got to learn how to do reels now, and I got to learn this new format. We don't have to be all. You don't have to sell all. Just I took a little bit of a tangent there, but don't don't try to go viral. Okay, don't try to become an influencer. Don't um, don't take your focus off of what it should be, serving your customers, and not just trying to get that promotion or that bonus or that sales goal. Instead, really try to serve them and weave the way that you use those products and how they can use those products in their life within your social media and within your story, and not you know deciding that you're just going to push on the last day of the month, then you're going to be that sales chihuahua. Or if somebody puts a like, you are like hounding them, like, listen, you're the only thing I right now. I need you to spend $200. I need you to do it now because it's about me. So instead of those self-centered posts, make them the person centered. So hopefully those top 10 were helpful for you. Was there any others, Ariel, any other things that we wanted to add?
Talking about those self-serving posts, it goes back to all the you're serving people, you are customer service. So keeping that in mind and really focusing on how can I help them? How can I help them either with sales or help them find a fit for Scentsy in their lives? How can Scentsy help them versus, oh, join my team, we've got this incentive going. Join me for X, Y, and Z. No, how can this help you? So I think remembering to keep it not self-serving is really important. I think that might be it. Do you guys have any questions, comments, concerns? Air high five. We'll take anything. We're not desperate.
I don't want the concerns. Keep the
Oh,
concerns. to
perfect.
yourself.
Keep your concerns to yourself is what I'm hearing. So sorry I offered that. I'm just kidding. You guys know that we are here for you.
I'm glad it was helpful, Jessica. Good.
Awesome.
Good comments. I feel aren't reading the comments on that. We know there were a lot of people who were going to be watching this recording. So if you're watching the recording, thanks so much for taking the time out to do that. If questions and you're not, of course, you know, reach out to us directly or post on the page or whatnot. So any questions about for the month, what we've got going on?
And don't forget, mark your calendars for our huddle by titles next week. That's always the second Tuesday of the month. And first Tuesday is obviously this. You can go ahead and mark it out for the foreseeable future too. So like you don't forget.
Yes.
Put in your calendars.
Yes. Yeah, I really dig those consultant huddles. I'm really loving how those are going. So if you haven't been to one yet, try to make those. I think they are awesome.
Yeah, they're pretty rad.
So, okay, I
Cool.
guess that's it. Hope you guys have a great rest of your week. And oh, good.
Perfect.
And yeah.
All right, guys. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.